And that wasn't because I was a coward. That was because I loved her enough. So you don't come now telling me that you need to fix things. Because the fixing not even with you. So that makes it good.
Jaden, our session is not over. You need to come out. We have to finish our session.
Can we get together next week in Costa Rica during the lunch?
I can't. We have to have a virtual section next week. I'm going to Maine for a conference. I'm the keynote.
You know, right? Not again. Jen! Jen!
What's going on, everybody? It's your guy, Lawrence Eugene, and we are here with the fourth installment of this week's special Dear Forgiveness short film episodes, where we are hearing from the cast of Dear Forgiveness. And right now, I am honored to introduce everybody to JeanCarlos Aponte. He plays Dr. Callie Diamond in Dear Forgiveness. And guys, when I tell you that this gentleman is phenomenal. He's very quiet. He's very humble, but he knows what he's doing on this acting thing. And I am honored to be connected to him. JeanCarlos, how are you feeling, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So how do you feel that we just wrapped a little bit over a week ago on the project of Dear Forgiveness? You play the role of Dr. Callie Diamond, a therapist. The first question that I really want to know is, what drew you to this script?
First, when I read the script, I know my character was the role was a little changed, because at first it was going to be a podcast, but then we decided that it was going to be a therapist. And I think what drew me, especially when I knew that the role was going to be changed to therapist, I think that in our community, in the Black community, in the Latino community, therapy is so like a taboo. Like no one really, everyone thinks that when you speak about, I need to go to therapy or this, they think it's because like you're either crazy or things like that. And it's not just that. I think that everyone personally needs to go to therapy. I think everyone deals with different things and just need to have someone that they need to talk to, because sometimes you don't feel comfortable talking to your own family. And I think for this film specifically, like I know that my character, like even though I was playing a therapist, I was also Jaden's best friend. But I know that we had to do that that line of boundary in between the professionalism and the friendship. But I think that I knew so much about him that it really helped with how we were communicating and how I was able to help him out.
Awesome. So just connecting in and really dialing in what you're saying is, because we discussed this when we were on set, how it's important to have the different types of characters in your immediate community. Every community, every family needs that therapist. Every family needs that business person that's going to help change the demographics. And I was really touched that you really embraced that therapy role, and you brought it to my mind that the lack of people going to therapy in both communities. I did a little research and looked at it, and you were right that a lot of people don't go get therapy, and it's like a bad thing, and I think pride is what keeps people from reaching out and sharing their feelings. And I think the dynamic between Dr. Callie and Jaden, like you said, of being friends, but then having that boundary to where he felt comfortable. Hey, I'm not talking to my friend right now. I'm talking to the doctor. You could see that. But then as I was looking at the emotions on Dr. Callie's face when he left, and that scene, how it evolved, that wall kind of broke down. And I like that. The next question that I have for you, you did this, I've seen you've done theater. What's next for JeanCarlos? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? If there are directors casting other actors, if there are companies watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, what's next for JeanCarlos?
So for me, just continuing the route of transitioning into film, because I'm a theater actor, so that's what I mostly do. Because I went to college for theater.
Okay.
When I graduated, that's what I was mostly doing. But now I want to transition into film.
Okay.
So I think that's where my route is, and that's what I'm gonna continue. I'm still gonna go back to theater, and I'm still auditioning for theater projects, but I'm also focusing on film.
Okay. What drew you into acting? Like, how did JeanCarlos get his start? What was that moment that JeanCarlos said, yeah, this is what I want to do. Not only this is what I want to do, I'm going to go get professionalized in this specific realm of performance, theater, and acting, because that's a unique space that's really not that lucrative financially starting out. So what would prompt such a bold move?
Yeah, so in middle school, I was always part of the talent shows. We didn't have, I didn't go to a performing arts school in middle school and high school, so we just did talent shows, but we never really did like theater or anything like that. So I was part of the hip hop team. So I was always um, like dancing in competitions and in the talent shows. And I just knew that I wanted to do something on stage. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't want to do dancing as professionally. I just did it because I loved it and I love like putting on a show, but I didn't want to do that professionally. So I was like, what's another art that I can do that's on stage? So that would drew me into acting. And then um, this art center came to my high school and they spoke to us about different arts that they provide in their center. And it was located here closer to my house here in the Bronx, and it was free. So at the time, because it's financially, I'm a lot of like for acting, it's a lot of like you have to pay for classes and all this. So I was at that time I was looking for something that was free classes to take. So I decided to take those classes on Saturdays. I started my sophomore year of high school all the way until I graduated high school, and that's when I decided I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college, and that's gonna be my major. I went as declared my major as theater, and I never changed my major at all. Like that's what I loved. I never backed down. I knew a lot of people, especially my family, were saying, "Do you have a plan B? Like, what if theater doesn't work?" But for me, my plan B, like even if acting didn't work, I still wanted to do something in the acting world, whether that's directing, whether that's backstage, but I still wanted to be somewhere in the industry. So that was my plan B. My plan B was never, oh, okay, I'm gonna become a doctor, I'm gonna become this. Like that's when my family was like, why didn't you become a doctor? Because they're so focused on, okay, you graduate college, you immediately have a job or something like that. So no, and for acting it's a little different. It's like you graduate, you have a degree, but now you have to work extra hard. You have to get have to go to these classes, have to get your headshots, have to audition, and a lot of times like you audition against a lot of
People,
other actors for the same
right.
role. And there's a lot of factors that go into auditions, and I had to learn that because in the beginning I was like getting a little frustrated when I was auditioning. I wasn't getting the role. Sometimes I don't even hear back from the casting director. So I immediately go to that state of mind of like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, do I really want to be in this industry? Like, is this really for me? But I had to build like tough skin and was like, okay, like I shouldn't be taking this personally. A lot of actors have applied for this role and only one person gets it. Um, so I had to understand that. It took me a while to understand that, but now I understand that, and now I go to audition and I just take that as um an opportunity to act. You're acting and have fun. And
Right.
that's what I take it, whether the outcome is good news or bad news, but at least I put myself out there. And that's more important for me.
Okay. For a new actor who's just getting started, trying to find their journey, What's one piece of advice that you have for them that you learned or that you wish you would have known starting out?
For me, it's always get into classes. Always find classes that works for you. I did different classes. I did find one particular class that did work for me, and I love it. I am a type of person that loves in-person classes, but this class that I'm talking specifically, I do it through Zoom, which is fine because I know when COVID hits, every audition usually is through Zoom or self-tape. So I think it works because you get to frame yourself in Zoom. So when you do have that audition through Zoom, you know where to frame yourself. So I think that helps. But also if you're an in-person person, like an in-person person who likes to go to in-person class, that's also available as well. But it also came down to like money and how much the class costs and things like that is the difference between in-person.
And so for all the professionals that are seeing this and the directors and the talent agents and the studios that are going to see this and the people that are going to see this, where can they find JeanCarlos Aponte? How can they get in contact with you to see what you have going on or to network with you?
Yes, for me, I use Instagram a lot. My Instagram is JC_Aponte. And then I'm sometimes on Facebook, but my Facebook is my full name, JeanCarlos Aponte. All my social media is the same handle. I like to keep a consistency, so that's easy for everyone to find me. So it's my full name, JeanCarlos Aponte, or social media, JC_Aponte.
Okay, guys, you heard it. And just as you heard it, when I say this, it's going to pop up right here. When you see this video, this is where you're going to be able to find Mr. J. I call him JC. You're going to find JC, Mr. Aponte, and you can get in contact with him. And listen, he's a professional. These actors that you see in this film, I was fortunate to get professional actors that this is what they want to do. So when you call them for your casting, when you are reaching out to them for your production, please deal with these individuals, these humans, with respect. I'm in a new school of directors. I'm in a new school of production. I feel that they need to be treated with respect. And if you can compensate them, please compensate them and do right by them. I've heard some stories. We had a cast member on our cast that was done wrong. And so I made sure to the cast what I told them that I was going to do. I made sure that I did it. And I'm expecting you guys to treat these professionals, these creatives, these human beings properly and do right by them. Don't try to take advantage of them or get over them or use my name to reach out to them to take advantage, because I'm going to come get you. I'm going to come get you, and we're going to have some problems because you messing with my players, okay? Okay, I'm done. All right, guys. This has been the What's the Business podcast. I'm your host, the crazy one, Lawrence Eugene, and I have Mr. JeanCarlos Aponte. He plays Dr. Callie Diamond in the new short film, Dear Forgiveness, streaming in 2024. But before it comes to a platform near you, we are going on the film festival circuit. So I'm super excited to see what happens with this, JeanCarlos. I greatly appreciate you, my friend. And you guys be great.